Are you tearing down your own home without even realizing it? Proverbs says a wise woman builds her house, but with her hands the foolish one tears it down. So, which one are we becoming? You know how easy it is to get around other mums and just vent about our husbands, our kids, the lack of sleep, the endless to-do list. But recently I've been so convicted reading Proverbs and Titus and 1 Peter and realizing that my words literally create the atmosphere of my home. That I can either speak life or death over my family, over my marriage. And I don't want to be a wife who nags or complains. I want to be one who builds. So today I want to talk about taming our tongues, praying instead of complaining, and learning to speak life over the home we once prayed for. Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. We have had a lovely morning. Koa is currently napping. I have my matcha, I have my Bible, and I have a strong word for you guys. If you are a mom, if you are a wife, I pray this hits your soul, because this word has honestly transformed my marriage. That even if you aren't a mum or a wife, I feel like you can take these principles and translate them to any area of your life, because this message is all about the power of the tongue and how there is life and death in the power of the tongue. So buckle in because it's going to be spicy. All right, let's do it. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to Proverbs. I'm going to be bouncing around a bit, but we're going to start off in chapter 18, verse 21. The tongue has the power of life and death. Those who love it will eat its fruit. If this isn't convicting enough, I don't know what is. Your words have so much power. They can either create life or they can destroy it. We are living, the atmosphere of your home is determined by what you're speaking at. We're living in the fruit of our words. Proverbs talks so much about not being a nagging wife, that it's better to live in the corner of a roof than with a nagging wife. It's better to live with a dripping tap than a nagging, complaining wife. And yet in chapter 16, verse 24, gracious words are honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 15, a cheerful heart is a continual feast. Proverbs 14, verse 30, a heart in peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Proverbs 15, verse 1, a gentle answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 14, verse 1, the wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears it down. It's like a little bit convicting. Proverbs 13, verse 2, from the fruit of their lips people enjoy good things, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. And then lastly in Proverbs 12, verse 4, a wife of noble character is her husband's crown. I don't know about you, but I want to be a crown. I do not want to be a nagging, complaining wife. I want to be a crown. I want to be a crown to my husband. And also pretty much just read all of Proverbs 31 as well, of the wife that we as women aim to be. But I've just been sitting and stewing in Proverbs so much, and I've just been so convicted about my words, because I don't know about you, but as a mum, it can be so tempting to fall into the trap of just complaining about your night's sleep, complaining about how many times the baby woke up in the night, how many diapers you've changed, how many loads of laundry you've had to do, how just how exhausted and tired you are, and how sacrificial this life is as a mum. You can get into this train of wanting just to complain, and once complaining and nagging begins, I feel like it just becomes a negative spiral. And I can hear it from other mums when they go to the park. They just start gossiping about their husbands or their kids or their home environment, and it's just like, it is not life, it is not fruit, it's not bearing good things. And it just needs to stop. Like, it really needs to stop, because your words have the power of life and death. And I know that motherhood can be hard. And once again, even if you're not a mum, I feel like this translates to whatever season of life you're in. Just watch your words, because with the Israelites, they were, when God took them out of Egypt, he was giving them the promised land, and they've worked out the promised land from Egypt was maybe like an 11-12 day journey, and yet God had them wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. Why? Because of their nagging and complaining. So what unfulfilled promises are you on the other side of because of your nagging and complaining? I do not want to be wandering a wilderness for 40 years. So if you don't want to be doing that either, watch your words. But more so than that, what I've been convicted of is how I am living in the answered prayers. I prayed that I begged God to answer, and I swore would make me happy and fulfilled. I remember being so single for so many years of my life, and just looking in awe of other couples at church and going, wow, like, you don't realize how magical and wondrous it is that you're married. You found someone and they love you and you want to live a life together. Like, how wonderful is that? And I just thought, God, come the day if I get married, oh my gosh, like, I will be eternally grateful. I'll be eternally happy. And yet I'm married now. I'm living in the answered prayers. I once prayed that I swore would make me happy. And yet what am I sort of now bent and inclined on doing is going, oh no, look at my husband. He's left his towel out again and he hasn't hung it up. Oh, look, there he goes again. He's left his laundry on the floor. Ugh. And then you can just get in this negative spiral. And the same thing goes for, for my son. Children are a blessing from the Lord, and yet how many times are we complaining about how messy they are, or how noisy they are, or how sticky they are, or how much they get into everything and make a mess, and how often are we yelling or saying, no, don't do that, or when really it's like, this is a blessing, this is a gift. And how long was I praying for one day to become a mum myself, and yet here I am. And what am I doing with the gifts God's given me? Am I stewarding this gift, this blessing well? Am I speaking life over it, or am I speaking death? So I was wondering if that was Koa. Perfect example, actually. Koa's napping at the moment. Oh, no, it is him. Hold on. A perfect example. Koa just woke up midway through his nap. Koa is not the best sleeper at all. He wakes up still pretty much like on the hour. Like his sleep cycle's an hour or so, and he needs to be resettled each time. And that can like be during his nap and like all through the night. So yeah, he's 1.5 years and I still have not slept through the night ever. It's great. But there we go. There's another example of how I could just complain, and so many times I would go and resettle him and put him back to sleep. I would be just lying next to him and just so frustrated, being like, just go to sleep. I just want to go outside and I just want to do my own thing, or I just want to have a break. I just like, just sleep. Just sleep. And I'd be lying next to him just so frustrated and just like, can I get out now? Can I leave the room now? Is he settled enough for me to run out now? And I would just be sort of counting the minutes until I could leave the room. And when I realized this, I've just reading so much of Proverbs, I've just completely flipped the times where I go in and resettle Koa. I use that time to pray peace over the house, peace over him, over my husband, our marriage, our family. I pray that God's presence would flood the room, his peace and protection would fill our home. I pray over Koa that he'll grow up to know the love of the Father. I use that time to pray. And now I don't despise that time where I'm just going in and resettling him all the time. I delight in that time. I give thanks to God for that time, because it's become such a sacred time of my day where, how great is that? I'm just like continuously in prayer over my son. Like, what an investment are those seeds that I'm planting that are going to reap in years to come. And that is the whole point of this video, is I want to remind you to watch your words, to change the dialogue, change the words that are coming out of your mouth, because it'll ultimately transform your heart and your home. And I wanted to share just a couple of things I've been practically doing and how that has affected just the atmosphere and the rhythms of our home. So the first thing I've been doing is just changing all of my criticism, my nagging, my complaining, and I've been just turning it into gratitude. So just being grateful for all the blessings God has given me, not focusing on what isn't going well, what hasn't been going right, but choosing to speak life over your house. That looks like gratitude and being grateful for all that God has given you, rather than just, there we go, this car again. So the second thing I want to remind you is that as wives, I really believe that we set the spiritual atmosphere of the house. Titus 2 talks about how as women, we need to be busy at the home, that like the role of the woman is to be a homemaker. And I feel like that just translates not only to just practical things around the house and keeping up with laundry and having dinner on the table, but I believe that it's our role and responsibility to set the tone of peace, of love, of joy, of thankfulness in the house. And that just translates to our children and our children's children. And so Proverbs 31, I wanted to also read as well, where it talks about that a wife of noble character, her husband has full confidence in her that he and lacks nothing of value. This convicted me so much though. It says she brings him good and not harm all the days of her life. That's a challenge, to constantly be bringing your husband good and not harm all the days of your life. So every word, every action you have, are you bringing good? Are you bringing life, or is it producing death in the household? Other characteristics of a noble wife is that she gets up while it is still night. Yes, I do. And she provides food for her family. She considers a field and buys it out of her earnings. She plants a vineyard. That she sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. Little Pilates arms right here. That her lamp does not go out. She opens her arms to the poor. And I'm just flicking around here. She's clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. And I love that, because someone that can laugh at the days to come isn't fearing the future, isn't worried about the future. And so often a lot of our complaining and our worrying and our fear talk is about the what ifs of tomorrow. But we're called to be grateful. We're called to not worry about tomorrow. We're asking God for our daily bread. We're coming to God daily with our requests. When the Egypts came out of Israel, God was giving them daily manna. They had to daily tap into his presence. And so what Proverbs 31 and Titus is talking about is women being busy at home, not busybodies, not gossiping, but busy with a purpose. And that purpose is to bring God's peace, his presence into our home. The third thing I have been doing, which is what I was just demonstrating so well just now, is that I've been using those small interruptions, those small irritations, as invitations to pray. So every time Cole wakes up, all throughout the night, during his nap, I just go, wow, thank you, God, for this invitation, this moment to pray over him, over our house. Every time my husband just leaves his towels wherever around the house and I have to pick them up, yes, of course I can remind my husband, can you please, put the towel away or whatever. I'm not I'm not encouraging women to be silent sufferers for the sake of suffering, but what I have been changing my mindset around is not getting irritated or upset about whatever it is that previously would have. I'm changing my mindset to go, oh, this is an invitation to pray for my husband. Let's take this towel back to the bathroom and let's go, God, thank you so much for my husband. Thank you so much that he is out working and he's providing so we can buy this towel and have this towel and live in this house. Use those moments, shift into gratitude, and use those moments to pray instead of like sighing and just grumbling. Because I believe those small little moments throughout the day could be setbacks, or they could be set ups for moments of heaven and earth colliding, where we join and partner with God and what he's wanting to do in our house, in our marriage, in our family. And for me, I feel like nothing softens my heart more than praying. And I've seen such power. I've seen so much transform in our house through the power of prayer. There have been so many times I have had an issue with maybe my husband, maybe a decision he's made, maybe our finances or something like that. And I'm like, whoa. And previously I would go to say something, or I'd nag or complain, or just go, oh no, I don't think you should do that. Or I'd go to correct him or something like that. Instead, I backed off, I prayed, and it's been later, he's gone, you know what? Actually, I don't think we'll do that. And I'm like, honestly, I think there'll be a whole other video of the power of prayer, and specifically in your marriage and around the house. But I've just been praying rather than nagging, because I want to be a crown to my husband, not a nagging wife that he wants to sleep in the corner of the roof. Because I feel like at the end of the day, if we want to be raising peaceful, happy kids, we first have to be peaceful, happy parents. I have to be a peaceful, happy mum. And when you have a toddler running around that's getting into everything and upending all the toys, or upending the dirt from the pot plants, or putting toys in the toilet, like, there are so many times where you want to jump in and get angry or upset. But Proverbs 15 talks about how a quiet answer will turn away wrath. And Titus talks so much about how, 1 Peter 3 talks about the behavior of women should be of a gentle, quiet spirit. And that is the type of spirit that turns away wrath, turns away anger, and it invites God's presence into the house. So I want to be a wife that is gentle, that is soft, that is kind, because if I am peaceful, then my children will be peaceful. If I am inviting God's presence into my daily rhythms, I'm demonstrating, modeling that for my kids. So my fourth mindset shift has been letting God do the changing rather than me doing the controlling. It's so tempting to hold on to peace if you feel like you're in control. And that means, like, I'm in control of my marriage, our finances, our big decisions about life. And as a wife, it's so tempting to, yes, control everything. But I really don't think that is our role. Instead of pushing more, I've just been praying more, because I've learned that nagging really does not change much at all. Nagging does not change your husband's heart. Nagging does not change the attitude of your child, but prayer does. And in Proverbs, there's this great proverb about the tongue. Proverbs 10. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, but the heart of wicked is of little value. Lips of righteous nourish many, but fools die of lack of sense. So like I said, I've literally seen my husband's heart change toward areas of our house and our home and those financial decisions just based on me praying, not nagging. So honestly, just like mums, wives, come to God with your worries and complaints and concerns. Like, bring him your frustrations and God will do the changing. Don't bring it to other women that are just going to gossip and you get into that negative spiral. Like, it's just not healthy. It's not productive. There is no good that comes from nagging, gossiping, complaining, criticizing. It says if God is enthroned upon our praise. So I just think, who is enthroned when we complain? What is that benefiting? So the last thing I do is, before I even try and change my words, I really am trying to change my heart posture, my thoughts, because if you watch what you think, you don't have to watch what you say. And our tone really reveals our heart. You can even say something that, like, on paper is kind, but maybe your tone, your intentions are wrong. So constantly be in prayer that God convicts and changes you. I'm constantly praying, God, soften my heart, sweeten my soul. That is like a prayer I pray all the time. So before I speak, I try and breathe. I try and take a deep breath, and then I try and reflect. Is what I'm about to say, is it life? Is it death? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it productive? Is it good? Is it even necessary, what I'm about to say? Because like it says in Proverbs 31, she brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. That is a very convicting message. And it doesn't mean that I'm suggesting you bottle things up and not share anything with your husband or just swallow down your frustrations. I'm definitely advising that you share with your husband, but there's such a more gentle, soft, kind way that we can bring our husbands our concerns. That's not nagging or telling them what to do. It's with love, it's with patience. Because as it says in Proverbs, that gracious words are like honeycomb to the soul. They're soothing and healing to bones. I want my words to be healing. I want them to be life-bearing. So wives, mums, watch your words. Your words matter. They set the spiritual atmosphere of your home. They set the tone to your marriage, and they often dictate the behavior of your children.
Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." That means every word we speak in our home is planting something, either life or decay. Every time we speak over our husband, our kids, our day, we're sowing seeds that will eventually grow into the atmosphere of our home. Proverbs 12:18 says, "Reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." And Proverbs 15 verse 4 says, "Gentle words bring life and health, but a deceitful tongue crushes the spirit." That's powerful. Our words can either wound or heal, crush or restore, curse or bless. And when I read that, I realize that I don't want to be a wife or a mum who fills the air with complaints or criticism. I want my words to heal, to bring warmth, to create peace. Because God's not asking us to be silent wives. He's asking us to be wise ones, to speak when needed, but to do it with grace, to build rather than break, to pray rather than nag, and to worship rather than worry. So when the interruptions come, when the baby wakes up early from his nap, or when your husband leaves that wet towel on the bed again, instead of rolling your eyes or sighing, which I've definitely done, take it as a divine invitation. An invitation to pray, to speak blessing, to bring heaven into that moment. You have spiritual authority over your home. Your words shape its atmosphere more than you realize. You can either invite peace or invite pressure, and you get to choose. So today, let's make this our prayer. Lord, help me be a woman who speaks life. When I'm tempted to complain, remind me to pray. When I want to control or correct, remind me to trust you. Teach me to build my home with wisdom, to bring my husband good and not harm all the days of my life, to fill my home with words that reflect your heart, and to remember that my tongue holds the power of life and death. So let me choose life every time. Amen. If this message encouraged you, take a moment today to speak life over your home. Pray for your husband. Bless your kids. Thank God for the home you once prayed for. And if this encouraged you, please subscribe. I upload videos like this every single week, and perhaps share this video with another mum that you think might need to hear this today. And let's be women who build our homes together, because when we tame our tongues, we don't just change our words, we transform our homes. All right, until next time, don't forget to let us love one another. Bye.